listening to Ron Siegel Radio on ESPN Radio 1700. Now, live in studio, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media, this is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family, your business can benefit from current events most of all. Thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content this morning, please join me in welcoming our featured guests and repeat offenders, both of them. Melinda Johnson, Freedom First Properties, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Glad to have you with us. Bart Carey, Family Peacemaker, welcome.
Good morning.
I might need to get some peace in my house. We're going to be driving for a few hours, so I don't know. We might need a peacemaker there.
Got room in the car?
There we go. Absolutely. And on the way up, we have room in the car. On the way back, we're going to do some market research on wine this weekend, so we'll check that out and see if there's any room on the way back, though, too. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money. I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Well, I shared with you that I was going to be off yesterday and not to pay any attention to the stock market. Well, why do I say that you shouldn't pay too much attention to the market? It's just one of those things on the Jewish holiday. Ironically enough, it is generally, not always, but generally the lowest trading volume day of the entire year. And yesterday, market volume down about 30%. The question then comes is what happens the day after when people go back to work? Are we still getting the same volume? Well, today we're going to look at the markets being down 184 points right now as we speak. There's going to be a little bit of a challenge today to see what happens because the good old New York City, they're going to have some tough times getting around there today. I'm going to see the Pope there this afternoon. We've got the leader of China there, the President of the United States there. One place I would not want to be is anywhere near New York City. Holy cow, the security there is going to be very interesting. Did you get a chance to watch some of the Pope's comments yesterday? Obviously, the biggest story out there right now, every news station that I can find is covering the story about the Pope. And that's kind of why Hillary Clinton came out with her announcement on Tuesday night. Did you see her announcement Tuesday night? Yeah, neither did anybody else.
You're absolutely useless.
She decided that she was going to cause a new rift in the Democrat Party. Here's the rift, the problem that she caused. She came out and decided that she is against the XL Keystone Pipeline. Problem with climate change is what her assertion is. But think about this, XL Keystone Pipeline. Why did that cause a problem, though? Well, the environmentalists are happy. Tom Steyer, he probably wrote her a nice big check so she would say that. And the unions, they're not happy because those were all union jobs that they were looking at. Think about that. That's going to be a fun subject. But why did she release that information on Tuesday night? Absolutely.
So I know whose ass to kick.
Yeah, well, it's very simple why she did it Tuesday night, because she knew nobody would be watching. All of the conversation was about the Pope's arrival and what's going on with the Pope, so nobody would see this. And they did this quite brilliantly because nobody mentioned it. The evening news last night, did you see any conversation on the evening news about this last night? Yeah, no, neither did anybody else because they didn't cover it. There was a total of 1 minute of coverage on NBC last night about her announcement. I did get a chance, though, to listen to the Pope's remarks last night. in the replays, obviously. Had a little thought there that I just wanted to share with you and just ask your opinion, see what your thoughts are. Interesting conversation. The Pope was made. Some people thought that there was no politics involved, but there was quite a bit of politics in his initial comments at the White House. And we know that the president makes everything political. That's not a real surprise to anybody. But the Pope, if you look into what he said, there was a lot of subtlety, and you had to really concentrate. You had to focus. Brilliant man, obviously. He's learning English and delivered his remarks in English. They were a little bit slow, but probably faster than I would do in his native tongue, I would assume. Glad to see him trying. There's a lot of people here in America that should learn from the Pope learning English so that he could come over here and speak in English. Little hint there. But here's the questions that I would pose, or the commentary that I had. The Pope obviously agreeing with the president when it came to climate change, disagreeing with the president when they were talking about abortion rights and the rights of every living human being. But here's a couple of thoughts, because the Pope's commentary came around a couple of things that I found very interesting. Climate change is obviously one of them. And there's a lot of disputing facts. The only one that's really certain about the effects of climate change, the only one that I know of that is totally certain about the effects of climate change, Al Gore. He's made millions and millions of dollars off of telling people that there is climate change. Is there climate change? I don't know. I think there is climate change. I think it started, if you believe in the Bible, I think it started right around day one. There was some sort of changes that took place. I think over the next 6 days, there was quite a bit of change that took place. Pope didn't mention that because that wasn't man-made, apparently. Then you move on and you see the Ice Age. That had some issues with climate change. I don't know how they could have changed the Ice Age. Just a thought process there. So the climate actually has been changing for thousands and thousands of years. Caveman saw climate change. What was he doing to cause climate change? Don't know how that might affect anything there either. So do we really know that there's climate change? And the Pope is saying that we need to spend more money on climate change and renewable energy. Now let's think about this also, because this goes back to the conversation that I had with you on either Monday or Tuesday, I don't recall which, when we were talking about the stupid questions that came out of 60 Minutes when they were asking Ben Carson about a Muslim serving as president. Who cares? Does it matter? There's no Muslim running for president. So why are we worried about that? Why aren't we worried about jobs? That's what we want to talk about from the presidential candidates. How are they going to create jobs? Well, they don't want to talk about that because this week we had another 267,000 first-time unemployment filings. I digress. Probably why the stock market's down today too, because we keep seeing some of these bad numbers. But let me get back to where the conversation was. So here it is. The Pope's talking about climate change. We've spent billions of dollars trying to create renewable energy. Yet I shared with you that I went to a fantastic event on Saturday night, and with all of that went on, we helped raise $1,078,000 to help homelessness in northern San Diego. $1,078,000. Great event to raise money. Has nothing to, but that's just a drop in the bucket to the $500 million that was spent with Solyndra and all of these other failed prospects of trying to create renewable energy. And the Pope's talking about renewable energy. He also talks about poverty and income inequality. Well, let's think about that, because a lot of his comments have been, one might say, is not real pro-capitalism. Yet, I just looked at these numbers this morning from 2013. The United States government gives $31.7 billion in foreign aid. Private sector in the United States 2013, $39 billion. The next largest contributor was United Kingdom at $18.3 billion. So our government alone gives about double. Our private sector alone gives about double. Why wouldn't we be promoting capitalism? Why would we be promoting income inequality? Why not promote getting rid of all this climate change discussion and deal with poverty, deal with homelessness, deal with things that we know for certain we can control? We know that Solutions for Change, with their $1,078,000 that was raised, is helping. Last year they helped 750 families, 1,500 people get off the streets. And not by just giving them a hand out, by giving them a hand up, by getting them a job, teaching them how to work, teaching them how to get a house. Why are we not hearing things like that? Wouldn't it make more sense? Just one person's opinion. I did notice one thing, and I want to dispel any rumors right here. I noted that yesterday the Pope canonized Father Junipero Serra during his Mass yesterday. Great issue right there. There has been no confirmation, no confirmation at all that President Obama was lobbying the Pope in their private conversation for himself to be canonized. Just saying, there was no confirmation there. We know that the president got that Nobel Peace Prize in his, 7th month in office. Must have done a whole lot as a community organizer, because it couldn't have been for his work as president. He wasn't in office very long. We better get off the soapbox before I get myself in too much trouble. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, what is collaborative divorce? We're going to talk about it. Real estate, we will talk about it. Trusting your listing agent. I'm going to even give you information on how to get the exact value of your house today. Remember, you can reach me anytime. Call our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel lending team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel lending team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel lending team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990, or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
I love Solutions for Change. They're dedicated to solving family homelessness, one family, one community at a time. They do beautiful work, truly changing lives. They're a big event of the year. It's the 5th annual gala, an evening to remember with our American heroes. Saturday, September 19th in the Jet Source hangar at the Carlsbad Airport. It's going to be awesome. Taya Kyle, author and widow of Chris Kyle from American Sniper, is going to be the main speaker. Joining Taya will be Navy SEAL and former pro football player Clint Bruce, and I have the honor of attending the festivities as well. Jeffrey Strauss from Pamplemousse Grill will be catering the evening. There's going to be a hosted craft cocktail reception, live entertainment, silent and live auction, all to raise money for Solutions for Change. Tickets are available. Please grab them as soon as possible. I'd love to see you there. 760-941-6545. That's 760-941-6545. or solutionsforchange.org.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today brought to you by the VIP Hero program. VIPHero.com. You can find out if you qualify as one of the heroes, $5,000 to $10,000 in rebates from the real estate professionals, the lenders, the credit repair people. We've got some attorneys that will help out. And we can't say there's a discount from our title insurance companies, but they have special rates that are published lower than those of other will get. Because that's, by my definition, it's a discount, but I don't want to get them in problems. I cause enough of my own. How much must you trust your listing real estate agent? That is the subject of today's real-time real estate segment. Seems to me like you better trust them a lot. They're looking at selling possibly your family's largest asset. You need to know what the value of that asset is. You need to look at a time schedule for liquidation, and I like the term liquidation of the asset. If you notice when I talk about selling a home, I use the term selling property, liquidating asset. The whole idea here is to get divorced from the property. Get divorced from the property. Take it out of the emotional state of being your home, something that's, you want to start getting to a thought process that, you know something, it's just an asset. I need to look at it from a business standpoint. I need to get rid of it. How do I do it for the most possible price, the highest possible price, the quickest possible time, meeting my family's needs? That's the idea. And I'm going to share with you that for the most part, most people that I come in contact, when I ask you this simple question, how do you evaluate, how do you determine the correct real estate professional to help you? And I hear these crazy things. Well, John Smith has a lot of signs up all the time. Well, does that mean that he sells anything, or does he just do a great job of putting signs up? Now, I can go buy signs for about $5 a piece. Now, I could put 1,000 of them up, and I've never sold a piece of real estate in my life other than for myself. I've got a license, I just don't do it. You need to understand how it's done. There need to be more metrics in there. Just because somebody's your best friend or your best friend's son's dog's dog walker, that doesn't mean they're a great real estate professional to help you with your family's largest asset. Thus, the reason that I have created the Ron Siegel Radio Area Trusted Professional for your household board of directors. Now, if you would like to know, got to catch this real quick, because here's some statistics that just came out. 32% of the population believe that they have 20% equity in their home or more. 32% of the population believe they have 20% equity in their home or more. In reality, 69% of the homeowners have 20% or more. 69%. Fully 37% are wrong. Do you want to know how much equity you have in your property? Here's a real simple way. Text RSR CMA. RSR CMA. Ron Siegel Radio, Charlie Michael Apple to 79564, and one of our area trusted professionals will put together an opinion for you and support that opinion with what your value is worth. Anywhere in the sound of my voice, this will work. Text RSR CMA to 79564. We'll get that information to you. Not me, one of the professionals that I vet and I believe will give you an accurate assessment of your property value. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment, again brought to you by the VIP Hero program. Got a couple of professionals in studio with us today. Bart Carey, family peacemaker and attorney. Melinda Johnson, Freedom First Properties and attorney, in the house with us. We're going to talk a little bit today about something that many people are not familiar with. And I'm not an attorney, so I just get to ask the questions. And I'm going to throw this caveat out there so that everybody knows we are not giving legal advice today. We're trying to educate you a little bit. If you want legal advice, give me a call. I'll put you in touch with Bart, the attorneys. They give legal advice. That's how they make a living for their family. But right now we want to just share information with you. So Bart, tell us what is collaborative divorce?
Well, collaborative divorce is a private, confidential, non-adversarial, family-centered, child-friendly process.
Holy cow.
To obtain a divorce.
Family-centered, child-friendly, non-adversarial and divorce in the same sentence.
Yeah, it's almost an oxymoron, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm familiar with hearing those two other than when you started coming in to visit us.
Well, there's a big difference between us having disagreements and not being able to get on the same page about our relationship and us going to war with each other. And so we can manage the conflict and we can bring it down to a place where you can sit down and focus on the family and focus on the children. If you saw on social media, came out yesterday, Ben and Jen are getting divorced, and their statement to the press, the only statement they want to put out, is actually what we call a mission statement for their family about how they want to handle their divorce, how they want to treat each other, and especially focus on their children for the future. And we create those mission statements, and then we honor those throughout the process.
Sounds pretty interesting. Obviously, for the benefit of those wanting to learn more about or getting the word out about collaborative divorce, would have been better if they would have waited a week to come out with this instead of when the Pope's here taking, that's all the coverage right now. But I guess they weren't thinking about educating people when they came out with this.
Actually, this Pope's very, I don't want to say divorce friendly, but very understanding that of the circumstances that families go through in divorce.
I have heard that some of that it is a changing world in the Pope's eyes a little bit, but I didn't catch in any of the replays that I watched yesterday any conversation from him about that.
No, not on this visit so far.
It is refreshing watching the Pope just because he is so positive in so many areas and looks for. That was one of the commentaries that I heard yesterday, was that he's very collaborative, looking to discuss the items that he believes that he's got on the same page, even with his comments with the president yesterday morning, talking about climate change. He knows the president's into climate change, right? I mean,
right.
All going together.
Searching for common ground, and that's the way you resolve conflict, finding common ground and bringing people together around the values that they actually still share and can still commit to. And that's the work we do to bring non-adversarial processes together and move people forward.
Is it something you have to get into earlier in the stage? I mean, because sometimes you hear people, and thank goodness I've never gone through this, but you do hear people say that they went to an attorney, and sometimes the attorneys promote or bring up ideas that could make things more adversarial.
Well, if I know I'm going to have to be the trial attorney on something, I have to get my client prepped and positioned for an adversarial process, and so I have to counsel them in that manner. So. And once I start counseling them and they start taking my advice in that manner, the other person who's already in conflict with them sees that as an attack on themselves. And that makes bringing them back together harder. Doesn't make it impossible. In some cases it does. But in family law, we're very sensitive to that because these people have to co-parent afterwards. So one of the struggles of being a litigator is cross-examining both of the spouses on the stand and tearing them apart for their parenting skills, and then turning around after you get the court's decision and saying, now go co-parent. Well,
Right.
we haven't exactly
We
set
just
them
beat
up.
them up, and then we say go work together.
And they don't even like each other. They don't even talk anymore. So we work on communications and rebuilding it, giving co-parenting skills that are actually practical for the future, and getting a focus and a plan for the future.
Now, does each party need their own attorney to go through this, or can you handle everything for both sides?
Collaborative divorce, you each get your own consulting attorney, but the attorneys and you agree that these attorneys will never take your case to court. If you go to court, you have to get another attorney to do that. What that does is align the attorney's interests with your family-centered process and takes out their ethical obligations and professional responsibilities to set you up for the trial to come for success there.
And that would seem like it would be a conflict from the attorney's standpoint. If you've got to try and set you up or get you ready the best they can for trial, that might not be the same thing as you're talking about with collaborative.
Right. If parents say, well, we're going to go through the litigation process, but we're going to be amicable, the problem is that adversarial is like wet on water, right? It's part of the process, and once you go down that road, there's things you just can't work together to achieve.
We're going to get more into this with our guests, Bart Carey and Melinda Johnson. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, the real estate side of divorce, we'll chat about it. Qualifying for a mortgage, is it getting easier? Some tax traps for small business owners, all that and more. You can reach us anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a loved one who wants to stay in their home but you have health concerns about it? The Preferred Care team understands the challenges of caring for your loved ones. Their goal is to keep seniors as independent as possible while maintaining their health, safety, and overall well-being. Whether you need just a few hours a week or 24-hour care, Preferred Care caregivers are trained to meet your needs. Call Preferred Care at 714-696-9150. That's 714-696-9150. Or visit preferredcare.com.
Ron Siegel Radio Date Night Trivia, presented by Reunion Kitchen and Drink. Friday, Ron will pose a question based on-air conversations during the prior 7 programs. The person to post the answer according to the guest conversation will win a date night package, including a dinner gift card for Reunion Kitchen and Drink. You might even be able to say hi to Ron when you visit Reunion Kitchen and Drink.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today is not being held. We're going to do a Mortgage Minute instead. But that's going to be brought to you by Commerce for a Cause. Do you take credit cards? If you do, you're probably paying, I would bet you're paying, a credit card processing fee. Commerce for a Cause matches your fee and then gives a 20% rebate to the charity of your choice. You got to love that concept. Commerce for a Cause is qualifying for a mortgage getting easier. Been a lot of talk about how difficult it is to get a home mortgage in today's lending environment. 3 recent reports have revealed that lending standards are beginning to ease. Now, there are some changes, significant changes, that will come into the real estate industry and lending on the 3rd of October. I would say to you as a consumer, don't worry about them too much. It's going to be stuff that the lenders are going to have to deal with. If you've got a great lender, they'll take care of it. You've got a great real estate professional, they've been educated on it. If not, well, you should be listening to Ron Siegel Radio more often because we'll tell you who the right people are to talk to. So we're seeing that is qualifying for a mortgage getting easier starting in January based on some of the metrics. The Mortgage Bankers Association, they've got this MCAI, indicates lending standards tightening, while increases in the index are indicative of loosening of credit. And the numbers are just skyrocketing. Since the beginning of January, the numbers have almost doubled, showing that it is easier to get a loan now. You just have to know what you're doing. You've got to understand that the credit reports, there are programs for those of you who have gone through foreclosure. There are programs if you've gone through a bankruptcy, short sale. There are programs out there. When I talk to you about never, ever going to the big bank on the corner, that's the reason I tell you don't do that, is just because they only offer the programs that they have. That's the way their business model works. I shared with you about Wells Fargo's changes just a couple of days ago, the things that they're not going to allow anymore, but is still very, very allowable in the market. So they don't tell you when they say you don't qualify, they don't say you don't qualify here. That's the reason that I say go to a mortgage banker if you want me to introduce you to one. Anywhere in the country, I would be happy to introduce you. They are all part of our area trusted professional program. Text ATP to 79564, area trusted professional, ATP. I'm a simple guy, to 79564, and you'll be able to find one of the trusted professionals. I'm going to share a featured property from one of the trusted professionals right now. 6023 East Prado is the property. I wonder who's got this listing. 4-bedroom, and it even shows on here one of my pet peeves is not there. 4 bedrooms, 2 full baths, so if you have to go, you've got a full bath. You don't have to stop halfway when you're doing your business. 2 full baths there. Single level, gotta love that. 4-bedroom, 2-bath, remodeled, cul-de-sac. Peekaboo, you get to pay peekaboo there with your view. New kitchen. Melinda, it's one of yours.
It is mine.
Isn't that a surprise? We found one of your properties to feature as the featured home today. And how do you get more information on this property? Number one, give me a call. I will put you in touch. Or, here you go, text 60230 to 79564. 60230 to 79564. You'll get full information on the property. It'll also show you that there's interest rate. Whoa, one of these interest rates, 3.75 with a 4.55 APR on a 30-year loan. Ooh. Well, we'll talk about more about that. That is the featured property today. Again, 6023 East Prado in Anaheim Hills, listed by Melinda Johnson. Give me a holler if you want more information. I will put you in touch with Melinda. So we're going to chat with Melinda Johnson now, Freedom First Properties, Bart Carey, Family Peacemaker. Let's talk a little bit about real estate. Melinda's the expert in that area, and I just learned this new one, Melinda. I didn't realize this until we were consulting with a listener just recently, and actually a guest, well, I better not say who it is, a listener and a guest that's been on the show. that the courts have actually appointed you to help with real estate in divorces.
Yes, they have. In fact, I just got a call yesterday from one of the past clients who opposed my appointment, but ended up wanting to work with me on their subsequent purchase. So, yes.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice when you're recognized by a combination of peers, but also other area professionals.
Well, and it's interesting to be on with Bart right now, who does collaborative divorce, because I see the sale of property in a divorce to be a collaborative process. So often it starts out where one side's opposed to the other side, but I try to bring them in and share that, we have the common goal of liquidating this asset for the highest amount possible, and usually they end up on the same page at the end of the day.
It's pretty nice. I mean, if you can get people that are trying to strangle each other to come together for something. And you're right. I mean, it's probably, I would get, Bart, you would know this better than I would assume the house is probably generally the largest asset within the separation.
Generally is, unless they own a business.
Okay.
Sometimes that's
business, or somebody that might have done extremely well and has a retirement plan or something along those lines.
right. The average family in Orange County, their house is their largest investment.
So they need to come to somebody who knows what they're talking about with it. How do you bring two people that are trying to, sometimes obviously in a collaborative, it's probably an easier process.
Well, it often starts out combative, especially if I get the appointment. It's oftentimes because the two parties can't agree. But it's bringing that common ground together, like showing them that they share this common goal of selling this house for the highest amount possible. So it's focusing them back on what they do share.
How do you do that when you're talking about a court doing that? I hear so many people saying, well, you have to use a real estate professional that's in the neighborhood. Yet the courts look and they're not necessarily in a specific neighborhood. So when they've come to you and said, well, we want you to handle this, how do you make that work in a general, in a larger geography?
I think it's just having the tools and the education and the skills to be able to go in and analyze that neighborhood and know that particular market. Obviously I have Neil, who's an appraiser, who's, there to go take a look and assess the property as well. That can really help us drill down where that value is, which is probably the most important thing, is being able to price that property according to the market. And
that's a big issue, because I have chatted with Neil as well about valuations, and sometimes people shortcut the valuation process, and look to the online metrics, and those frequently are not the best place to get that information.
More than frequently, I would suggest. They don't accommodate features of the home. Whether it's been upgraded, whether it has a view, whether it doesn't have a view. They're just pulling generalized statistics from the market, so they have a huge propensity for inaccuracy.
You said that very eloquently. I just say, heck, if you go to one of those online tools, plan on getting bad information. That's just the... And if you look deep in their websites, I mean, the biggest is Zillow. If you look deep in their website, they'll tell you how bad their information is.
Yeah, I love that. I love that little disclaimer they have. It's fantastic.
I tell people, take Zillow right out of here. We're not talking about it.
Something, and that's great counsel, because you want somebody that's actually been there, that knows it. Is Zillow giving you a... And here's another one that people don't always know. The value for a refinance is not necessarily the same value as for a sale.
That's correct.
Right.
So when Neil looks at them, Melinda, how often do you and Neil come up with the same values? Or are you doing it completely independent, so somebody might get, two sets of opinions?
We often disagree. Now, there's not a radical difference usually, but an appraiser takes a look at past sales and a little bit at the market. But what an agent can do, or a broker can do, is take a look at the market and see what's impacting the market for future sales. What's on the market right now? What's the supply and the demand like? Are we going into spring season? These are things that an appraiser can't accommodate, that an agent can accommodate. So we often are not on the same page, but for reasons we can usually justify with a client.
And there again, that's some perfect information, because the latest statistics that are coming out, and I don't know why I keep all these statistics in my head. Maybe that's why I never sleep. The average realtor right now for the month of August, the valuation that's coming in from an appraiser is 2.33% less than what the contract prices are, 2.33% less than contract price. So you need to understand that when your real estate professional gives you the guidance of what a property is worth, they're looking at what the values are to a buyer and a seller today because they know what the foot traffic is, they know what the competition is, and they know ultimately how their marketing is working and maybe even who they're already working with that's looking. Whereas, as Melinda just said, the appraiser has to look at historical numbers, what's happened in the past. So you need a great real estate professional to bridge that 2%, 3% gap that may come in there. And it's not the fact that either one of them is doing their job incorrectly. You just need to understand that from a planning standpoint. So let's talk further about it. Do you have to price properties in a divorce different than you would price properties if for just a standard couple because of time issues?
That I would think is individualized. I think it's always important, no matter what the situation is, to price the property appropriately, because it isn't a process that most people joyously sign up for. You know, you got to keep your house perfect. It's not how we live on a day-to-day basis. It's got to be in show condition. So it's not usually something people are interested in dragging out. So I think pricing to market, I'm a firm believer in free markets and that it works, that you will get to value. If you price appropriately, the market will get you there and get you there quickly.
Great information. We're going to continue our conversation when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. We're also going to talk about some tax traps for small business, continuing our conversation with Melinda Johnson and Bart Carey. You can reach us anytime. The off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation mortgage adoption plan. You be the judge if it's right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to map@ronsiegelradio.com or call today Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporation and MLS 217037 and BCAL-BRE number 018694552.
I love Solutions for Change. They're dedicated to solving family homelessness, one family, one community at a time. They do beautiful work, truly changing lives. They're a big event of the year. It's the 5th annual gala, an evening to remember with our American heroes, Saturday, September 19th in the Jet Source hangar at the Carlsbad Airport. It's going to be awesome. Taya Kyle, author and widow of Chris Kyle from American Sniper, is going to be the main speaker. Joining Taya will be Navy SEAL and former pro football player Clint Bruce, and I have the honor of attending the festivities as well. Jeffrey Strauss from Pampa Mouse Grill will be catering the evening. There's going to be a hosted craft cocktail reception, live entertainment, silent and live auction, all to raise money for Solutions for Change. Tickets are available. Please grab them as soon as possible. I'd love to see you there. 760-941-6545. That's 760-941-6545. or solutionsforchange.org.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. you still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com, or simply call 800-306-1990.
The Honda for You sales event is on now at your San Diego Honda dealer with incredible deals and special financing on Civic and Accords just for you. Visit SDHondaDealers.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Our free home buyer's guides, they are available right now, compliments of Ron Siegel Radio. All you need to do is text HBG to 79564. HBG to 79564 will get you a copy of our free home buyer's guide, or things that you need to consider when buying a home. Just released the first of the month, so get your copy. Word on Wealth talks top 5 tax traps, easy for me to say, for small business owners. They want to need to avoid these tax traps. First off, you got to get one of the area trusted provider professionals to help you, so that you can talk to them about these. Getting stuck with a prior owner's tax bill. It's bad enough you got to pay your own taxes. Don't you want to pay somebody else's too? If you do, 800-306-1990. I'd be happy to send you my tax bill. Dumping records too soon, that's not something you want to do. Minimum of 4 years in the event of an audit. If somebody's suspecting you of fraud, it might go a little bit longer than that. Guessing instead of written advice. Holy cow. I've talked about that many times. I am not here to teach you or educate you on answers to these questions. What I want to do is give you questions to ask professionals. That's their job, is to give you the answers. I want to give you the questions to ask. Sometimes, if you don't know the question, you might be in trouble. Making late or incomplete tax payments. Do you know what being penalty proof is? Got to talk about it. Spousal liability. That's an issue there that you want to know about. I don't even know where that one goes to, but it's another one of those issues that you need to know. You need to, if it's small business, what are your liabilities? What are the issues that you need to understand? All of those are things that you want to get, information you want to get from a trusted professional. That's why I am always telling you, you need a household board of directors. Why is it that Apple has a board of directors? Verizon has a board of directors. Procter & Gamble, McDonald's, they all have boards of directors. Why don't you have one for your house, for your household? You should. You need trusted, great advice. Your insurance professional, they're all part of it. That is the Word on Wealth segment, again brought to you by the Ron Siegel Radio Area Trusted Professionals. Get your household board of directors put together today. We're going to continue our conversation this morning. Bart Carey and Melinda Johnson are in the house. We're talking about divorce. We're talking about real estate. Bart, I gotta go further on the collaborative idea. It's amazing to me. Maybe it's just, I've seen a lot of divorce, especially in people that call. And it amazes me when I ask them this simple question. People call me all the time and saying, can you recommend a divorce attorney? Right. And my comment is, do you think you can get along with your partner long enough to get the paperwork done? Or do you think it's going to be a battle to the bitter end? And people have never even heard of the concept of getting along. I don't know. They got along long enough to get married. Sometimes maybe they had too much of the wine that we talk about on Wednesdays, but at the end, nobody ever looks for an exit strategy.
Well, I might change your question.
Okay.
I might suggest that you ask them, do you want to do the best thing for your kids? And most people will say, yeah. That's common ground that almost every couple has, is their kids. And they do want to do what's best for their kids, even when they disagree about what that thing might be. And if they do, then they need to become educated about their divorce options, the process options, because choice of process will dictate outcomes. It will dictate the experience through the process and the outcomes at the end of the day. In collaborative divorce and mediation, self-determination is a very high value, meaning they have control of outcomes. They get to say yes or no to outcomes. They also get to say yes or no to many decisions along the path and along the way. When you go down the trial track, the attorneys, the court, the civil procedure code dictate many of those things. There's also the bit about you can do more if you stay out of court and you work by consensus and agreement than you can have a court do for you. Every day we get up and we do more for our children than just what the family code or the juvenile code provides for our kids. Why not continue to do that through the divorce and the post-divorce period? So it makes a big difference. And so the first place to go is, what do you want to do the best thing for your kids?
Much better question. You're right. That is a much better question. One of the things that I've heard, and maybe you can confirm or dispel this myth, is that when you end up going to court, if one goes to court in a divorce proceeding, the court actually has the bottom of the barrel requirements as opposed to what's in the best interest of the parties.
Well, at first I want to defend judges now.
No, I'm not saying that, no. I'm not saying that they're doing anything wrong. What I'm suggesting is the law basically says you must do A and B. And that's what the judges have to work toward, is doing what the law says, as opposed to there might be a C, D, and E that could be done, and if the parties knew about it, they might do that.
Actually, the parties do know about it. What they can't believe in the litigation process is that the court can't order it.
Okay.
There are things beyond what the law allows, would permit, and what the court can order, because essentially that's the state, that's the government stepping in and telling you about your life, liberty, family, property. And so there's limitations on that. But by our Constitution, we have freedoms to go beyond that. And so people need to understand that if we want to exercise those rights, we can do that. We can do that. We do that every day that we're in agreement. When we're in disagreement, if we stay out of court and we sit down and we work towards common ground and make agreements, we can still do far more.
That's a great way of putting it, because I would suggest that in so many times when I've heard of the outcomes of a divorce proceeding, you have to just kind of scratch your head as an outsider who does not know the law at all and say, how could a judge possibly sanction this?
Right.
And the issue is that they may not have wanted to, it's just that's where their hands are tied.
That's very true. People, pro pers, experience in court, I see it all the
Okay,
time.
I'm a simple guy. Pro pers. What the heck is pro pers?
Self-represented people.
Oh, okay.
People without attorneys.
It seems like it's the comment there sounds opposite, right? Pro. If I'm without an attorney, I'm not a pro.
That's right. It's Latin. But,
okay.
But you're right. It's not common language. But so people who go in front of the court on their own without an attorney, and they will give the court their whole story, and their whole story is important to them, and every fact and detail in it is. But it'll be 90% hearsay, and the court can't consider hearsay in rendering their judgment. And they'll walk out and they'll go, first of all, he didn't listen to a word I said. He did. He probably would have liked to do something better. But on the record, what was admissible evidence is what he had to make a decision upon. And so that's what they don't understand. That's the first thing. The second thing is a judge has limited discretion, and if he exceeds his discretion, his decision will be overturned. And you get overturned enough times in your seat, on the bench there might be in jeopardy, right? And so it's just a situation where they can do so much, and they really do want to do what they can. I can't tell you how many times in court I have heard the judge tell my case or another case, go out in the hall and settle this because you won't like what I have to do. And he's telling you, he's limited, you can do better, go do this.
And then people don't want to listen anyway.
That's right.
Right? I mean, that's kind of the bottom line of where I think that, well, I shouldn't go there. And we'll move right along and keep me out of trouble here, I guess, for this morning. So, Melinda, why would a court get involved to appoint a real estate person?
Well, when you're in the litigation process, it often can become combative and the two parties cannot agree, so the court comes in and appoints.
Do you have the consumers come to you to talk to you before they get to the attorney stage, or is it usually, do you get involved afterward?
In an appointment, it's usually...
But I mean, even in general, when you're helping divorcing families?
Both, but
Okay.
primarily I have them contact me, or they do contact me directly. But there are situations where I have no prior contact and I'm just appointed based on, the recommendation of a family law attorney in the process.
And does it have to heck, here you get an interesting question. Do the attorneys have to agree on the appointment, or does the judge just do it?
No, they don't often agree. It's often the judge who gets to decide that.
So again, we get the judge making the final decision.
Right.
So here's the concept, and I know we only have a couple seconds left. I'm going to throw my opinion into the whole ring here. Save some money on legal fees. I know there's some attorneys that are not going to like me to say that. Save some money on legal fees. Get a piece of paper, write down all the things that you can agree with, then call Bart. And see if it makes sense for you and your family. You can't make an educated decision if you're not educated. So agree to everything you can agree with. Call Bart, sit down with him, get a consultation, figure out if that's the right solution for you, if it's not the right solution, and then move from there. And obviously, the one solution we do suggest every day is set your first radio preset button to come back here to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thank you to our guests. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Steve, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, call me anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember my mantra, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun, have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
XEPN 700 AM Ecatec, Baja California.
You're listening to ESPN Radio 1700. Hey, business.